You are listening to the Warehouse Lounge podcast, our pilot episode. Today we're talking paintball. So let's get started. Hey everyone, Richard here. Welcome to the Warehouse Lounge podcast. Make sure to come back often and feel free to add the podcast to your favorite RSS feed or iTunes. Now, let's get to the cast. So last night you were talking about paintball and what you wanted to do with paintball. Or something of that nature.
Yeah, I would like to find paintballing arenas that are winter because obviously it's winter time and I love shooting it out back. It's fun, but whole reason of a paintball gun is to go paintballing, so
right.
I want to find paintballing areas to go paintballing. Even if it's in Massachusetts, find a good weekend maybe. And just find maybe like a team or a club somewhere around here to go play paintball or just go paintballing.
So what about paintballing is fun? Just being outside, running around, shooting targets or shooting players, whether or not you're outside in the backyard shooting something or you're actually at an arena with some friends running around shooting and winning, or not winning or just having fun.
Well, my perspective on it is it's fun. It's a good thing to get you outside. It's a sport. I look at it as a sport. It's athleticism.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fun because you're in a real life scenario of Call of Duty basically, and you have to think of it strategy wise. And winning or losing, yes, your winning is, oh yeah, we won that round, sweet, we're good. But if you lose, you're getting the same fun. You're like, wow, I still made it. It's when you die in a game, oh my god, I can't believe I made it that far.
So out in the arena area, not just the backyard, but out in the arena area, it's timed. Do you have a certain time to get to is there like a gameplay of capture the flag? So, capture the flag in a Call of Duty's gaming environment versus paintball gaming environment. Is there an objective to get to the other side?
It varies between different fields. Usually a match can last 10 to 15 minutes and there's different objectives. You could have capture the flag, medic, you could have team deathmatch, all these kind of things. And I think what they're now trying to do with it is bringing in more games to play in it.
Mm-hmm.
There's like hostage situation, there's, forget what it's called, but there's big open 24-hour games where it's it's almost like you're in a real life war zone with paintball or airsoft, whatever you're into.
Right.
So it varies on different fields.
So now if I'm on a team and I'm on team A, you're on team B, do I have orange paintballs and you have red or blue paintballs, or is it specific to each team having a different color of the paintball? So when you get hit, is there a referee, battle zone referee to say you're out, or how does that work? Or you just take it upon yourself to know, I got hit 3 times, I have to kneel for a second?
Well, with the paintball different teams, you do not have different paintballs because usually at fields they make their own paintballs for you to buy their paintballs, and they're usually all the same color. And when you're hit, it's usually, unless you're playing medic, you're hit once and you're out. You gotta yell hit, raise your gun up in the air, and it's one hit, and that's no point. You're just off the field, so there's less players. With the reffing, there's refs on the field, but when you get hit with the paintball, unless it's on your pod, then you have to yell like paint check to a ref, and they'll come over and check you for paint.
And you are able to have X amount of paintballs on you at any given time to reload your paintball gun? Or
well, usually at fields, if you rent a gun, you get a hopper and you get 3 paintball pods, usually with 200 and everything. So once you're kind of out, you gotta you're kind of out
Mm-hmm.
unless you want to go up to someone and yell surrender. You usually don't use all your paintballs in a match. It's very difficult when you're on an open field to use all your paintballs, but when you're close quarters, it's easier to go through your paintballs pretty fast. You do have to be mindful though.
Because you're just spamming the trigger button to hit that person behind a tree in close quarters, or you're in a large open environment. You want to just shoot once or twice to get that direction of that paintball to land. Or
Well, if you have an open shot, one or two, because there is a rule called trigger discipline. So if you hit them once and you only shot once, that's okay, I'm hit, whatever, I'm done, right? But if you're doing not trigger discipline, when you're just rapidly firing just to fire, that person's getting hit 10, 15 times, and then they're having pain and they may not want to come back to play. So it's all about your self respect.
so when you do go to the outside field, you are there for a specific amount of time, right? There's one game could last. Well, it does depend on how many people get hit and say I'm out, right? It could last 5 minutes. It could last 20 minutes. It could last a half hour. It all depends on
It all depends on
how good your shot is.
Yeah, it all depends on how many people, how good you are, and just the field, I guess.
So would you, if you went there with a group of friends, let's say 4 or 5, and I showed up and my group had 4 or 5, would they match us together, or would we be on the same field, or would we have a different time slot? Obviously, it's like a birthday party. I mean, if I went to a birthday party at a bowling alley, they would have 3 Pacific lanes for us to go to the bowling alley, and only my party would be able to go onto those 3 lanes. We're talking about an outside arena, so if I showed up and you showed up with your group at the same time, would they just like, all right, you guys, team A, team B, team C, team D?
Well, usually if you have a party, usually you have a private match with your kids. If you have 5 or 6 friends and it's only you, usually most fields do. You pick a card, and if you're on a red card, you go on the red team, or no tape. And if you are in a party, usually the refs try and understand that, oh, well, they want to stick together, so let them go on this. So usually they take all the 6, let's say 6 players, they put that on a team, and then they take off 2 better people on that team to go play on the other team, and they give 2 good but like gets hit every so often on their team to kind of even it out, because sometimes you have a numerical advantage, but sometimes it could be by 4 little kids who never shoot a paintball.
Right.
Sometimes it could be 8 teenagers who destroy everyone.
Right.
It's all about really the reffing, who's reffing, and the field.
You brought up a good point of, if one team is dominating, is there like a team advantage, like a team shot? Could you team shot one person, or is that not allowed? Like if you and me and Austin were on the same team and we went after mom, all 3 of us went after mom, is that allowed?
It is allowed, but it goes into the trigger discipline rule.
Okay.
Because if all 3 of us are shooting at someone else and we're just doing 200 paintballs together, they're getting hit multiple times. If you're yelling, I'm gonna hit him, I'm gonna hit him, I'm gonna hit him, right? You just really got to talk to your teammates and understand that.
Right.
What if it was you in that situation?
So again, it's you could customize your game so that when you were hit multiple times, you wouldn't have to put your gun up and say, I'm hit, take me out, right? You could tell that ref, or no ref, right? If we just wanted to go there for a birthday party, right? We signed up for the whole day or whatever. We signed up for 4 or 5 hours. We have 10 people. Uncle Jay's on one side, and he's on a team with his family. We're on a team with our family. Andy and Nicole show up with their family, and they're on a team. Would we be able to say, all right, there's no ref in this particular family fight, and we're just gonna team deathmatch, right, free for all, and not, hey, I hit Auntie Nicole 3 times and she should have been out.
You could maybe ask for a ref if you were a good customer, going back to them. But usually, even if it's 1 or 2 refs, just in case, because usually you don't shoot at a ref unless, oops, sorry, I didn't see you there.
Right.
Because they can go up to someone if I'm yelling, hey, I got him out, can you go check him? The refs are going to go over there and check for paintball, splatter, or anything. So it's really, depending on who you're playing with, I guess you could maybe have no ref, but it really depends on how well you trust the players.
How many paintball guns can you have on your person in any given match? So could I have a rifle paint gun? Could I have a hand gun paintball? And can I have rapid fire Uzi style paintball gun on?
You can have as many weapons as you want on yourself, but you cannot use 2 of the weapons at the same time.
So you can't dual handguns.
You cannot. That's why you see most people in videos, they're out of paintballs on one gun, and they have more paintballs, but they don't want to risk getting shot.
Sure.
So they take out their other gun, and when they're out, then it comes down to, do I want to use my 2 last pistols and maybe get called out by a ref? It's really depending on what kind of person you are.
So is there any rules with camping or, digging yourself in with if you had a ghillie suit on and you dug yourself into some brush and nobody could see you, and could you just, ping people off wherever you can? There's no set rules against that.
There was no rules about camping or like being in the woods. Depending on where you are, what kind of field, and reffing. Some refs you're allowed to go into trees. Some, it's more dangerous nowadays because of how powerful guns are now.
Yeah.
So you could get knocked out of a tree.
Oh, I see what you mean. Like climbing trees, not necessarily low brush. I'm hiding behind the tree, but I'm climbing up climbing up 2 or 3 branches.
Yeah.
Hiding in the tree.
Yeah. And there is no rule against ghillie shoots, because usually, unless you're doing woods ball, you really don't want to wear something heavy. You want to wear something quick, because paintball is a moving sport.
True.
Other than close quarters, because usually in close quarters you're 50 people, 25 of you are going into one building, and you're all out windows shooting the other people. So usually you don't want to camp, but you want to camp at the same time. So it's very depending on the field you're playing at.
Sure. And your play style, right?
Your play style.
Right. So I guess if you're aggressive, you're going to be up front and trying to, tag everybody that you can. If you're not that aggressive, then you would just hang back and, wait for the team to advance to you, so then you could shoot that. So yeah. I guess it's all how your team, what your strategy of your team is versus what your play style is.
Usually, refs give you 1 to 2 minutes to talk with your team, saying,
okay,
I'm going to go this way. Does anyone else want to come with me? And if you have a group, there's usually 5 or 6 different groups, depending on how big your team is, going all separate ways. There's the aggressive, there's the, I got hit last round and how that hurts, so I'm going to stay back a little, and then you have the people who are
weird. Yeah, that just run around and do everything that they need to.
Yeah, that are tactical.
Yeah.
So
they're the assault people, or the tactical, right? Yeah. Right. So then, again, I suppose that would be dependent on your type of paintball gun that you have too as well, right? So if you had only a hand cannon, I'm going to call it a hand cannon because that's what I'm too used to Destiny, so I don't know what else they would call them.
Well, every paintball gun, no matter how good you are, what kind of gun it is called a marker.
A marker.
A marker.
Okay.
Just a paintball gun marker. You don't say paintball, just the marker.
Okay,
That's
so
what-
just the marker. So if you just had a marker, you would want to be maybe careful, or maybe you could be an aggressive. But if you had a sniper or a rifle style paintball gun, you would want to almost hang back and choose your battle wisely, because running up in front of somebody, I guess, with an assault rifle is different than a hand cannon style paintball gun, right?
Well, the thing with that is it's the same kind of trigger discipline, because if there's only two people left, one on your team, one on the other team, and one has an assault rifle and one has a sniper, and you both meet in the middle, you don't have health. So
Sure, right.
you get hit once and you're out.
You're out. Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter. Like, you could have a professional person versus a normal person, and the normal person win because of you're up close and you one hit, you're out.
Right.
So it's all about how you want to play it, because I've seen people with handguns go with the aggressive group because they know that they're going to be protected with that group, and I've seen people with handguns go with the lazy kind of group.
I see. That, but again, it's all dependent on their play style.
Yep.
So then after your group is done, or after that round, let's say, is done, the ref then gets to reset, or you get a 5-minute break, and you get to swap sides. All dependent again on what game style you're playing, or capture the flag. If you're playing capture the flag for 3 or 4 rounds, and you're starting on the left side, or this team is starting on the right side, or maybe there could be multiple teams and multiple flags to capture from left, right, north, east, southwest kind of situation. Does the ref allow you to rotate the field to get a different perspective?
If it's a 20-minute match and it's capture the flag and there's a castle and hill, usually after you capture the flag, if you're defending, usually the ref says swap, and you swap sides, because then you're going to be attacking. Ref does not give you time to reload your weapon, to think about where you're going to go, unless it's a huge match. If you're playing with 10 players, 5 on each side, you're getting 30 seconds to do everything you want. Because with paintball, once that timer goes, that's when you think about your strategy.
That's when it's going. So that's outside arenas versus just out in the backyard, shooting off a paintball at a during the wintertime. You can build a snowman and shoot them in wherever with your paintball. Other than that, you'd have to go to an arena. There could be clubs. There could be things at your local school that you could potentially start. Is there anything else that you'd like to add, Oliver, to this episode?
Nothing that I can think of. It's a great sport. Get into it. It's really fun. You may like it.
Nice. Great. Thank you.
Yeah. Glad to be here.
You have just listened to the Warehouse Lounge podcast with your host, Richard, a.k.a. Dad. Be sure to catch us on the next episode.